The Zamfara State Contributory Healthcare Management Agency has recorded 98% success. Former President Obasanjo false ransom payments to bandits. Nigerian Army got over 1 trillion naira in 28 months. On business, free electricity meters distribution coming soon. On international scene, Mali woman gives birth to 9 babies. On sports, Chelsea beat Real Madrid, face City in All English Champions League final. Welcome to Standard Voice News Channel. I am Samira Ibrahim. The Zamfara State Contributory Healthcare Management Agency has recorded 98% success so far in achieving its core mandate in the state. The Executive Secretary of the agency in the state, Dr. Yusuf Abubakar, made this known at a courtesy visit he paid to the State Commissioner of Information recently in his office. Dr. Yusuf, who presented a letter of congratulation from the agency to the Commissioner on his recent appointment as Commissioner of the Ministry, commended Governor Bello Matawalli for appointing a veteran journalist to man the great ministry. The Executive Secretary, who promised the Commissioner more success of the programs in the near future, appeals for mutual cooperation between the agency and the State Ministry of Information in the areas of information dissemination on the programs of Sanchema. Governor Aminu Bello Masari of Katsina State has presented money, prizes, certificates and Hajj tickets to overall winners of the last year and this year's Quranic recitation competition. The governor presented a check of 2 million naira and certificates, as well as an air ticket provided by a Katsina-based philanthropist, Alhaji Biliya Sanda, to the winner, Zainab Yazid Muhammad. Zainab Yazid Muhammad became the overall winner on 60 Hizb with Tafsir category of the Quranic Recitation Competition 2020 and will be among those to represent Nigeria in the international contest. Similarly, one young man, Mustafa Abdurrahman, who also won in the National Quranic Recitation Competition in 2020, was presented with Hajj seat, certificate and check alongside other 5 female contestants who also received certificate from Governor Aminu Bello Masari. The Katsina State government has called for synergy between the military and security agencies to curb banditry in the state. The Secretary to the state government, Dr. Mustapha Inuwa, stated this on Wednesday when he received the new brigade commander of the Katsina 17th Brigade, Brigadier General Emmanuel Emeka, who paid a courtesy call to his office at the State Secretariat Complex, Katsina. He stressed the need for proper synergy between the Nigerian Army and other sister security agencies in order to bring an end to the worsening insecurity challenges bedeviling the country. The state government considers informant as the major headache, as most of the bandit activities cannot be carried out without the support of informants. Mr. Inuwa noted that attention must therefore be focused on the informants and be dealt with equally as criminals, noting that they contribute even more than other criminals in the cycle. The remaining 29 students abducted from the Federal College of Forestry Mechanization, Afaka in Kaduna State, have regained freedom. Mr. Abdullahi Usman, who is the chairman of the Parents Committee, confirmed the release of the students by bandit policemen on Wednesday in Kaduna. He explained that the victims were released some minutes past 4 p.m. around the Kidanda area in Giwa local government area of the state and were on their way back to the state capital. Mr. Usman, however, refused to disclose the amount paid as ransom to the bandit for the release of the students. It is freedom at last for the remaining students of the institution after 55 days of horror in the captivity of the bandits. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has called on the federal government to develop means to deal with kidnappers and bandits heavily in place of the payment of ransom. He also stressed the need for leadership to ensure the 2023 birth emergence of a new federation in the nation, warning that the country may slide into what he described as ground dissolution. The elder statesman made the recommendation on Wednesday when he received members of Svtv professional group led by Professor Zachary Gundu at his residence within the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. He said, "Some people are still reaching out and hoping that lives can still be saved, but a situation whereby anybody thinks paying ransom is the way out, that person is a folly." The organized labor has condemned and rejected the plan by the federal government to slash the salaries of workers in the country. The president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Ayuba Wappa, who said this in a statement on Wednesday in Abuja, noted that the plan was tantamount to a mass suicide wish for Nigerian workers. Mr. Wappa said the NLC was shocked at the statement credited to the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, on the plan to reduce the high cost of governance by cutting down on the workers' salaries. The minister also allegedly directed the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission to immediately review the salary of civil servants as well as the number of federal agencies in the country. The Federal Executive Council on Wednesday approved more than $8.29 million as well as 3 billion naira for execution of various electricity projects in the country. The Minister of Power, Mr. Saleh Mamman, disclosed this to State House correspondents after the week's virtual FEC meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. Mr. Saleh said the projects, most of which are procurement of equipment as well as design and manufacturers, are for upgrade of the nation's electricity facility and improvement of power supply. According to him, the Ministry of Power presented 6 memoranda to the FEC, all of which were approved. The aggregate of all the figures in both Naira and Dollar denominations sum up to a total of over 6 million Naira when the dollar component was converted by the official exchange rate of 380 Naira to a dollar. The Nigerian Army got over 1 trillion Naira as budget releases between January 2019 and this year's first quarter. The Finance, Budget and National Planning Minister Hajia Zainab Ahmed made this known at the Senate on Tuesday. Mrs. Zainab Ahmed made the revelation when she appeared before the Senator Mohammed Ali Ndume-led Senate Committee on Army. Citing a letter from the Chief of Defense Staff last week, Mr. Ndume said the military authorities complained that they had a shortfall of over 50 billion naira as far as fund releases from the Finance Ministry was concerned. The minister, however, gave the breakdown of how her ministry disbursed over 1 trillion naira to the army in the past 2 years. She said 129.69 billion naira was released as capital expenditure, 39.76 billion naira was for overhead costs, 681.79 billion naira as personal cost, and 157.6 billion naira was for a special release. On business. The federal government will soon begin the distribution of 4 million free electricity prepaid meters promised by the Central Bank of Nigeria. This was made known to State House correspondents by the Minister of Power, Mr. Saleh Mamman, after the week's virtual Federal Executive meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari in the Presidential Villa, Abuja. It could be recalled that the Central Bank of Nigeria had promised to augment the federal government's distribution of free prepaid meters with additional 4 million pieces. However, fielding questions during the post-FEC briefing, the minister said the government was almost getting through with the distribution of its initial 1 million meters to Nigerians, which he tagged the phase 0, and would soon commence the distribution of the 4 million, which he tagged phase 1. On international scene. A Malian woman gave birth to nonuplets in Morocco on Tuesday, and all 9 babies are doing well. The Mali authorities said, although Moroccan government was yet to confirm what will be an extremely rare case. Mali's government flew 25-year-old Halima Cissé, a woman from the north of the West African state, to Morocco for better care on March 30th. She was initially believed to have been carrying 7 babies. Cases of women successfully carrying septuplets to term are rare, and nonoplets are even rarer. Moroccan Health Ministry spokesman Rachid Kodrahari said he had no knowledge of such a multiple birth having taken place in one of the country's hospitals. But Mali's health ministry said in a statement that Cissé had given birth to 5 girls and 4 boys by cesarean section. Still on international scene, French journalist Olivier Debord said in a video circulated on social media on Wednesday that he was kidnapped in Mali by Islamist militants. The journalist appealed to his family, friends, and the French authorities for them to do everything in their power to free him. The French Foreign Ministry confirmed his disappearance but stopped short of calling it a kidnapping. Islamist militants have repeatedly declared French citizens targets in West Africa since France's military dropped back Al-Qaeda-linked groups in 2013.
Reason to believe the worst scenario, unfortunately, and there is fair chances that he was indeed kidnapped by this armed group in the northern part of Mali. So we're calling on the authorities to do everything they can to put every means at their disposal to try to secure his release. We know that Malian authorities and French authorities are very much aware of what happened. They are working on it. We maintained this quietness as long as possible, but now with this video it's not possible anymore. So we will try to gather up everyone and see what we can do.
On sports, over to Abu Sufyan Abubakar.
Hello, welcome to Standard Voice Television Sports Room. I'm Abu Sufyan Abubakar, and as usual, I am with the sports update. Chelsea's German striker Timo Werner celebrates scoring the opening goal during the UEFA Champions League second leg semi-final football match between Chelsea and Real Madrid at Stamford Bridge in London. Chelsea set up for an all-English encounter in the UEFA Champions League final against Manchester City as goals from Timo Werner and Mason Mount beat Real Madrid 2-0 on Wednesday to seal a 31 aggregate victory at Stamford Bridge. If anything, the scoreline flattered Real Madrid as the 13-time European champions had no response to Chelsea's speed on the counter-attack. The Blues should have run out far more convincing winners as they toyed with the tired visitors in the second half. However, Werner's cushion header into an empty net on 28 minutes after Kai Havertz's initial effort came back off the crossbar and Mount's tap in 5 minutes from time were enough to seal their place in Istanbul on May 29th. Also in the Women UEFA Champions League, Chelsea women football team will face Barcelona women football team on Sunday in the finals of the competition. This is the first time in the history of European football that a club is having both the men and the women teams playing in the finals of the competition. And that's all we have on sports today. Back to the newsroom.
Thank you, Sufyan. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. The Zamfara State Contributory Healthcare Management Agency has recorded 98% success. Former President Obasanjo failed ransom payments to bandits. Nigerian Army got over 1 trillion naira in 28 months. On business, free electricity meters distribution coming soon. On international scene, Mali woman gives birth to 9 babies. On sports, Chelsea beat Real Madrid, face City in All-English Champions League final. That's the news. On behalf of the production crew, Head of News and Current Affairs Department, Ibrahim Garbatuna. I am Samira Ibrahim. Thanks for watching and Ramadan Mubarak.